Theologies. Brought to you by the HighGround Network.
Sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. Get a feeling that I never know.
Hi, I'm Ross, and welcome back to Theologies.
Theology.
Today is 80sOlogy.
80sOlogy. Listen, the 80s are so big that we have to create chapters and specific focuses on this one right now.
Absolutely.
So once again, we have the fabulous Nene here,
Hello.
and we have an amazing friend. Y'all have heard the svelte, smooth voice of Dr. Terry Jemmis from Surgical Innovation and Surgical Innovationology, and we get to meet his bride, Tracy, today, who's amazing.
Hello.
And we're going to talk today. Like, I feel obligated to help Ross fully appreciate the magnificence that was the 80s. And he's got some questions. He's done a little bit of research. He's got some questions. And so the 80sOlogy this time is about clothes, because 80s
There's a lot
clothes
of
were
them.
incredible.
Yes.
So here's a quick question for y'all.
Yes.
This is going to be about the hairstyles. Okay. How high was your hair? Was it bangs? Is that what y'all call them? Bangs?
Oh, yeah.
And then how long did it take to get them that high? And how much Aquanet hairspray?
I would say, definitely my bangs were up in the air. And it wasn't even just the bangs, like
So,
spiked.
you teased the whole thing out.
Yeah, but then we also did the sides, where you took a round brush and pulled the sides out, sprayed it with Aquanet, and used a hair dryer to make sure they stayed out.
Do you think that helped your neck get strong? Because
It definitely makes for some interesting
you're getting
photos.
wind, and you're either getting like knocked back like a sail, or you're holding what you got.
I was a little different with my hair. Eighth grade, I was hair, did my teasing of my hair and everything.
Uh-huh.
And then high school, I was more prim and proper. I had like the bows.
Yeah, I remember
the bows.
you're rocking.
I was a bow head.
Well, hold on, what is that? Like you?
Like
She
you
said
wore a big-
bowhead, and you said that with familiarity, like you knew what
Like
bowhead
you
was.
wore big bows.
Yeah,
in
you
your
wore
head.
these big, like, different colored
Yeah.
bows that would match your outfit, and they were
Yes.
huge.
Yes.
It's like something that you would, like, put on, like, your 2-year-old or something.
Well, yes. And
Yeah, those giant baby bows.
and then also I wore combs. Like the combs that you put
Would
on
you
the side.
wear
of your
combs?
head.
Yes.
Like they're called combs. You put them in the side. They kind of give you this feathered look.
Yes.
And I was a really big Leslie Lux person. I don't know if you remember
No.
Leslie Lux.
Did she open for Duran Duran?
No, she did not. Think of Prairie.
Like Little House on the Prairie?
Little House on the Prairie.
Okay.
Big shoulder pads.
Oh, I
Or
know.
was she a designer?
She was a designer.
So it's like a balloon
I wonder
type.
what she's doing
But she
now.
had dresses. Kind of like Ralph Lauren.
Okay,
It's
okay.
like a Ralph Lauren.
Ralph Lauren.
Ralph
Oh, I
Lauren.
can picture that.
Yeah. So my hair bows matched my coloring of my dress. So I didn't do much of maybe in my senior year I was.
Boy, at South Garland, we had some big hair at South
We
Garland.
did have some.
Well,
big
I was.
hair.
I was in Duncanville. We had some
Oh,
big
yeah.
hair out there.
Yeah.
What year were you in Duncanville?
92.
We played each other in basketball and football back in the day.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
there you
y'all
go.
had some big hair there, too.
Oh, yeah.
I
Definitely.
guess it was the 80s, so it counts.
Yeah.
I remember shoulder pads. That's what
Yeah,
I
well, your
remember.
dad was in academics in
Yeah.
the
He wore the
80s.
80s suits,
The 80s suits are pretty impressive. A lot of angles.
Yeah.
A lot of angles on those things.
Oh, true.
Angles and shoulder, but double-breasted. Everything was double-breasted.
Absolutely. And like I said, my mom had shoulder pads, and I used to take them out.
Oh yeah.
What is that, So,
So let's talk about units. That's something.
Oh.
That's something
That's
I
my
remember.
favorite.
I remember units.
Those were awesome.
It's like the Swiss Army knife of clothes.
Well, it was like the Lulu of the 80s.
Yes, I would not be mad if it came back.
I know, they were so comfortable.
Love them.
Yeah, they were like modular sweats.
They went
Yeah.
They had them at Townie Small. I don't know
Yes.
where you got yours, but they had a little store in Townie Small, and you can mix match everything.
Yes.
I remember having a big load of units and going to South Pottery Island for the first time, and that's the only thing I wore.
The whole time.
Probably the entire
Was
time.
it that much diversity? Like that?
Oh,
much?
you could.
Yeah, I mean, a belt turned into a skirt, like turned it, I mean.
and a top, and
Yes.
a belt, a skirt.
Yes.
Well,
One size
remarkable.
fit all.
That's
Yeah, it was
remarkable.
great.
Yeah. it was
I tend to test the bounds that one size fits all thing. Like I'm like, really? Okay, we're about to find
are
out.
we saying units here?
Units.
Yeah,
that's
they
what
were
it's
called
called.
units, yeah.
Okay,
And they
okay.
were like a
like a cotton
material that was kind of stretchy like a spandex.
It was so awesome.
It was awesome.
And then we had zippers on stuff. Like you had zippers
Yes.
everywhere.
Yes.
On
Jackets.
We had the Michael
jeans.
Jackson jacket,
Yeah.
which is a big
Yep.
deal.
Guess jeans that had the
And
zipper.
parachute pants.
Yes.
And there's also ones that were kind of like parachute pants. They had all the zippers. I forget what they're called.
Or Mom, I think Mom bought me fake parachute pants, and they caught on fire when little chunky Clint was coming around second place playing kickball, 5th grade.
Were
Started
y'all-
smoking.
Were y'all wearing high-waisted stuff too? Because
Well, I think that I wouldn't necessarily say it's the same as having high waisted now because the waists were just higher than they
Yeah.
have gotten to be over years.
yeah,
But
At the time, it didn't feel high waisted.
no, they were all right.
In retrospect,
they didn't call them.
But when you
high-waisted
look back
then.
at
They were just
photos
jeans.
after several years, they were
Yeah.
kind of high.
Well,
Yeah.
listen, and you got to do some work to put the clothes on then.
Sure.
Like I remember Z Cavarici, which never entered my closet, but you got like 17 buttons to snap and like
Yes.
4 zippers and.
Well, you had to zip, and then there was the piece that went over the zipper that had to button on the side
Yeah.
to make sure that the labels stayed out in the
Because you want
front.
everybody to know.
Right.
It's like you're buckling in for a parachute jump or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Then
is
you're
there-
tapering the pants, the little French roll, whatever that was called.
yeah.
I love those pants. The short ones that had the little buttons at the end. What are they called?
Buttons.
Not like culotte.
Kind of like
Culottes?
culottes. Yes. I sound really not fashionable back in the day, but I thought I was pretty somewhat fashionable.
Well, we had choices, right? And so it's whatever you have, what
Well, with
choices.
units,
yeah.
apparently you had lots of choices. What about shoes? What were those shoes? I remember Bass, like Bass
Yeah,
shoes
I
were a
love
big
my
deal.
Eastlands were probably my favorites.
Okay.
But I love me some Jelly Bellies.
Yes,
Oh,
the
yeah.
jellies.
Yeah, the jellies.
Yeah.
Isn't that a jelly bean? Like what is
No,
it?
they were
No.
like these white, clear, kind of almost transparent,
Yeah.
little glittery
But they
things.
came in a bunch of different
Look at
colors.
Ross, man. Ross is
I-
too
I-
in.
Ross knows
My
fashion.
sister had jellies growing up, and yeah, I'm not gonna tell the story.
I actually,
because it's not interesting.
I used to wear those. I'm going to say, I might have been maybe early junior high.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to go visit my aunt and uncle in Virginia, like the D.C. area.
Oh, yeah.
And we went like crab fishing in the
Yeah,
Chesapeake
yeah,
Bay.
crabbing, yeah.
And I had on a pair of my favorite jellies. And I fell out of the boat, like the canoe-like look thing.
Tragic.
And it was in shallow water, which was fine, but there was so much mud on the bottom, it sucked the jellies off my feet. And I never found them
They
again.
Never got him again.
Never
They
got them.
float.
Poor Jelly.
Just listeners, all listeners here is like, wait, I may be able to find some jellies.
Yeah, right.
What creek was that?
Do y'all get like a certain feeling whenever y'all look back at old pictures from the 80s and you see what you were wearing, you see the way your hair was? It's like one of those like, I can't believe I was wearing that back then.
I'm proud of everything.
Yeah, well, we know you are.
I look
Clint.
good too.
Yeah.
It is weird to look back because you
Yeah.
look back at your like mom and dad's like yearbook. You're like, oh my gosh, they look so young. And then you look at and they look so different and so young. And then you look back, you're like, oh my gosh, I wore that. And I thought, and you look at cars and you look at
Yeah.
fashion, like how much everything has
It's
changed.
a time capsule.
Yes,
you know?
it's kind of.
I tell you, there's 2 shows that have come out recently that have been awesome because my daughter's like, Dad.
Yeah.
And so Stranger Things.
Okay. Yeah.
Stranger Things was incredible. It was
Yep.
a total celebration of the 80s. And they're like, Dad, you ride your bikes? Like, we rode bikes everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's just what you
Yes.
did. You rode your bikes
Transportation.
everywhere. The clothes were great. What are these neighborhood pools? I'm like, oh man, the neighborhood pool. That's where it
Oh,
was
yeah,
at.
that's where every
That's-
weekend, all summer, all day.
100%.
Yeah.
That's where it was at.
And your mom and dad didn't worry as long as you were back home. By
That's
dinner
right.
time.
They didn't worry
right.
at all because you had some
They used-
15-year-old, troubled youth being the lifeguard.
Lifeguard, you're right. Our parents used to kick us out of the house.
Oh, yeah.
Get out and say
Like,
it's too,
get
it's,
out?
too, it's too pretty. Get out. Get
Yes,
outside and go.
it's too pretty.
And I had a go-kart, so I'd cruise around.
Ooh.
Look at
Yeah.
you, dude.
Fancy.
That's for you were the kid that you.
Yeah, until everyone else started getting four-wheelers and stuff.
Yeah, go kart's not as cool.
We had a golf cart that we never
We had a
used.
golf cart?
We sure did when we lived at Surrey Court.
I don't remember the golf cart.
Yeah, and we didn't take advantage
They
of
probably
it.
didn't let me
Dad-
drive the golf cart.
Dad
Would
bought
not.
it.
I would,
probably-
I would imagine.
It was an acquisition that Clint was not made aware of till just now.
It was
Then-
in the garage.
then
I
the other
didn't even
show
see it.
that I resisted watching it for a little while, and I don't know why. Because you were telling me to watch it for a long time. The Goldbergs.
Oh my goodness, that's such a good show.
The Goldbergs.
Is it? I haven't seen
amazing.
either. I know it's probably crazy. I haven't seen Stranger Things, but
it-
I haven't seen either one
you
of
haven't
those.
seen
You
Stranger
watch,
Things?
you
No.
start watching it, just say goodbye. It's like next thing you know, you're in season 2.
Oh, I'm a huge binge watcher too, so that's
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
I mean.
It's a great
Goldbergs
one.
is
Goldbergs is
it's-
hilarious.
it's
Goldbergs
fun.
is the 80s. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
Cool.
It's fun on.
All right, so if you could, here's the question. Ross, do you have any other questions about 80s?
several.
clothesline?
Well-
Okay, go. No, you go. You go.
Well, why? Why were y'all wearing that stuff?
Because it was awesome.
That's all we had. I mean,
It
it
was
was like,
awesome.
I'm just joking. I feel like my mom's closet.
Because Ricky
back
Schroeder
then-
wore it.
Right, but I feel like my mom's
Ralph
Silver
Macchio.
Spoons. Ralph Macchio wore it.
Well, yeah. My mom and dad's closet was like stuffed. I feel like everything that y'all had in the
Was
80s.
big.
Yeah, it was big,
Yeah.
bulky, and there were like lots of layers and
It was pretty. It was a lot
Yeah.
of layers back then.
yeah.
Yeah.
So and now I look at their closet and it's very much so slimmed down as they've kind of adjusted to the 90s or the 2000s.
I think the shoulder pads.
2020s.
This is when Buck Rogers was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
What did
Oh,
Buck
2000
Rogers in 2020? I thought it was running around in 2021.
it was Buck Rogers in the 20th century.
There's a
right?
lot of tension in the 80s. There's a whole nother show, but there's a lot of tension in the 80s. Were you a Star Trek or a Star Wars person? Or were you a Buck Rogers or a Battlestar Galactica person?
Buck Rogers.
I was Buck Rogers.
Yeah, Buck Rogers.
Because Gil Gerard was from Arkansas
And you
and
went to UCA.
Aaron Gray.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wilma.
What about Star Trek, Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Oh, Star Wars for sure.
I wasn't smart enough to be a Star
Crazy.
Trek.
I was,
Yeah.
we were
There's
Star
literal
Trek.
science woven into Star Trek. I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't get it. It just feels like school.
Well, I know that actually I had to do a book report in science when I was in junior high on the Star Trek book, The Romulan Way.
Oh, yeah.
And it was horrible because our science teacher actually thought at that time that there was some significance to Star Trek. So she made every one of us
Like she had
write a book report.
That's
on
a
it.
She dove
whole
into the-
another show right
Yeah.
there.
that Kool-Aid.
I will tell you
horrible.
that there are some styles that persist from the 80s. The Hawaiian shirt, made famous by Magnum PI.
Love me some Magnum.
Oh,
You
I
can't
love
not.
Tom
You can't not
Selleck. I
love
love
it.
Magnum PI.
Him and Barry Gibb.
I want to say I was just talking to my niece earlier on our way here, and there's things that are coming back.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
that's what I was
wouldn't.
gonna say. Like, what's coming back around these
Yeah.
days?
Scrunchies.
Yep.
Scrunchies.
Well, I remember scrunchies through the 90s.
Yeah,
And I had-
scrunchies are persistent.
Yeah.
I actually had one on earlier today.
Okay. So
Yeah.
they transcend time. What else? Do you think shoulder pads are gonna make a comeback? The
Mom
more
jeans.
structured look.
Are making a comeback.
What are
What's
we?
that?
Mom jeans.
Oh
Mom
yes,
jeans?
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Even Sutton was like, "Oh my gosh, I got
Like
mom
those are
jeans."
those are
like
popular.
popular.
Yeah.
I'm bringing back the fanny pack.
Oh no.
Dude, I got 2 of them in my office right
I
now.
bet you do.
I'm all
bet
about the
you
fanny
do.
pack. It's functional.
See, I think that fanny packs
Yeah.
are only acceptable at, like amusement parks, like Disney
Or
World.
gyms.
Hiking.
Like, when
They got backpacks. Yeah, I'm a little muscle manus on that, you know.
all right,
Right.
if we could restore the coolness of one thing from the 80s that is clothes or style oriented, what would it be? Tracy, this is your first time on the ologies. And I know it's hard to choose because there's so much. There's just so much that was great about it.
Oh yeah.
Remember Jams?
Yes. What about Bud McKenzie?
Bud McKenzie. I
when he
think
was
he's
a-
dead.
No,
Yeah.
He's a dog. Like, he probably didn't last.
Yeah.
don't give me such bad news.
Jams were awesome.
Jams were legit.
What are what are jams?
Floral shorts.
Oh,
like
they-
long shorts.
It's like
okay.
wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
For your
As
pants.
shorts.
Yeah.
I
For
do
your
have a
shorts.
question. Did any of y'all go through little different phases in your fashion? So I think maybe my sophomore, junior year, I went through my Rocky Mountain jeans and just
Yes.
Oh.
And
Oh,
Roper.
the
And
roper. The roper.
Ropers.
The
The
Yeah.
Rockies
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
no
Pockets on the
pockets
back.
on the back.
Those
right?
were the
Yes.
Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
And then I had
Those
a pair
were awesome.
I had a pair of
I
Wranglers.
mean, I didn't.
Yes.
We liked it.
I'm with
when-
you. Yeah. Check.
Yeah.
Check.
So that was my little, I did that for a little while,
Sure.
and then did the Leslie Lux for a little while, and then did more fashionable things of that year.
It kind of, I want to say, in junior high, I was kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to wear,
Yep.
Yeah.
And then once you got into high school, then mainly it was like, I don't know, Guess jeans and
Yep.
high top
That's-
Reeboks
yep,
and
yes.
My mom almost got me killed when we moved from Arkansas to Texas because we went to I think it was Miller's Outpost.
Oh, that's where you used to buy all the guest
And,
stuff.
Yep.
well, Clint walked out of there with a bunch of Bugle Boy stuff.
Oh no!
So I rocked in
Boy.
7th grade, walking some Bugle Boy with some suspenders on. I almost got beat up 7 times before lunch. And the only guy that saved me, and it would be my best friend Ryan, because he had the splatter paint Converse shoes on. So that's the only thing that was vilified more than Bugle Boy.
I'm still,
was
there's
no, the
these
Chuck
things never left,
the Chucks
man.
are great.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
Chucks, but splatter painted Chucks.
It reminds me when they say Chuck Taylors or Converse. Reminds me of Sandlot.
Oh yeah, kids run faster and jump higher.
Yeah. What was it? Shoes that can make any man fly.
That's
Via
exactly
flyers.
right.
You know.
That's
They
right.
show the yeah.
All right. So
sweet.
what? So what do you want? What do you want to come back? It's the hair.
I don't know about the hair though. I mean, we do live
That's a
in
lot of work.
Texas. I
That's a
mean,
lot of
it
work.
was probably bigger here than anywhere in the country.
Yeah.
See how proud we are when we see that.
No, y'all are overly proud.
I don't know what my favorite. I mean, I think units would be
That's what I
cool.
would say.
I mean, just because they're comfortable and versatile, and
Yep.
I mean that's kind of how we live nowadays, especially with all this COVID. Like
Yeah.
nobody, it's like
You still have a little fashion. It's
yeah,
comfortable. You can change the colors up.
yeah.
You can be color
Look
coordinated.
how intense Cordy's getting
No,
right
she's passionate for sure.
I'm passionate
Very
about
passionate.
my units.
now. I'm saying parachute pants and
You can
fanny
do
packs.
you do parachute pants with like a nice little cute
They're
white
amazing.
top,
Yeah,
cute little
Or-
shoes or boots.
yeah.
Or a parachute
Jacket?
whole bodysuit. That'd be amazing.
You-
It'd probably get pretty warm. It wasn't very breathable.
No, that fabric was not breathable at all.
All right, 80sOlogy / clothes. This has been amazing. Tracy, you're an incredible co-host on
Yes,
these things.
great
Courtney,
job.
Thank you.
Courtney, you
Great
did all
job.
right. I don't care. Effort counts. Effort matters,
Effort
right?
counts.
Ross, your questions were thoughtful
Thank you.
and
Yes, thank you, Ross.
and a little bit judgmental.
Yeah, for sure. We'll have to give some pushback.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you would have enjoyed the
Intense
80s.
topic.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
I was there for half of it, so keep.
yeah, but but you weren't there.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
you
with
weren't
you. I
there.
understand.
So,
Yeah.
so. All right, next time.
Yeah. We'll
Thank
see
you.
you.
Bye-bye.
Y'all have a good one.
Bye.